Hello, my name is Izu Wachuku and welcome to Real People, Real Business. On today's segment, we have an expert voice, which is Lydia-Elim Andrews. Lydia is the founder of Love Yourself Financially, which is a wealth advisory for women. And she's also a senior investment manager for SVN Capital, which is an investment firm based out of Dubai. On today's episode, Lydia, as an expert speaker or an expert voice, will be talking about why women should be investing, what are the challenges that they need to overcome to invest, and what sort of investments they should be looking at. Lydia, welcome to Real People, Real Business, Expert Voices. So you told us about your personal story and how you were driven to help women in terms of coaching them on how to invest. You saw a gap in terms of men would be quick to invest, but women were a little bit more apprehensive. They potentially prefer to save their money rather than invest and let the money work for them. So tell us, why should women be investing? Tell us, what your insights into this, and we can take it from there to see where they should be investing.
Okay. Well, thank you, Izu. Thank you, Izu.
No worries.
The first thing is that all women need to invest regardless of their relationship status. Whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're widowed, whether you're divorced, you need to invest. And one thing I've seen is that married women tend to be a little bit more comfortable, but your marriage is going to end. It's either going to end in divorce or it's going to end in death. And we don't like to think about it, but it's true. So you need to be prepared regardless of what happens. Now, the reasons women need to invest, there's so many of them. First, we know your money works for you when you do invest. But looking specifically at women, we have issues like the gender pay gap, women earning less than men. We have something called the pink tax. So the pink tax is, you don't know what it is. I can see by your face.
I have no idea.
So the pink tax is simply where, when you look at women's products, like compared to men, razors, shampoo, women's products are generally pink.
Right.
Men's products are black or blue.
Right, okay.
Women's products cost more.
Okay.
There's no reason for it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Women live longer than men.
Okay.
So because we earn less than men, that means we have less money to put towards our pensions and our investments. And we also need more money because we're going to live longer.
Okay.
All right. And we spend more because of the pink tax.
Okay.
So all of these factors mean that women especially need to ensure that their money is working hard for them. And the only way this happens is by investing.
Okay. So what are the issues when it comes to women investing? Why don't women invest? Just sidebar to that. If women are investing, especially when you're talking about women who are in marriages, who feel comfortable, like, their spouse is taking care of everything, how do they invest in that marriage without it seeming like it's a threat to the marriage? And I'll speak from kind of my heart on this one, which is I agree with you. I think your spouse should have their own investment. It should be working for both of you, or it should be working for you. Like, if anything does happen, she can move out of the relationship and she has money, she has a business or whatever that's working for her. I think it should be happening. But how do you do it, a mindset like, which doesn't come across like, this is my, if you like,
my FU fund,
my FU fund or my runaway fund, and put that, you're working on that, but still have a marriage that is harmonious. So that would be kind of, how do you have a balance of that?
Okay, so let me address the first point. I think there's possibly a false narrative that women are good at managing money. That's not true. So we've been told this, we've been socialized to believe this, and so because we've internalized it, then it's a lie. It's a money mindset that we have that's hindering us from achieving financial success. And it's a lie. It's not true. I have met women objectively, I look at their accounts and the way they're managing it, and I think they're doing a fabulous job. But they'll say, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand. I'm not good." You're doing phenomenal. Plus, all of us have strengths. So as a coach, I want to tap into my clients' strengths and push them gently, but push them nonetheless, so that they can use their strengths to manage their finances and invest in the way that will help them achieve their financial goals. Now, your second point is, does a woman's financial independence threaten a marriage? It shouldn't. If it does, there's something wrong. And there's probably something wrong with the husband. Because a husband who loves his wife will want her to be financially independent. So each of them, I think both of them should have their own investments separately. They should have their own savings account. You can have a joint account, whether for expenses, for investments. But regardless, each person should have their own accounts. So ultimately, if your wife has her own account and you have your own account, you're free to do whatever you want with your money. But obviously, I still think it's important for there to be transparent conversations. The other day, I was speaking to one of my clients, one of my investing clients, and she was telling me, her husband knows she has an account in her name that he can't touch. But he's aware of it. It's not like I'm hiding my money from you. No, if you're hiding your money, then there's a lack of transparency. There's possibly a lack of trust. And if that's the case, there are deeper issues to address. Because the way you manage your money only shows me your heart issues.
No, I would agree. I think if there isn't transparency, it's a partnership, isn't it? And we're speaking primarily about married couples here. It is a partnership, and I believe that everybody should be independent or interdependent in a relationship. So, yes, you have your investments. It's working for you. You're making money. It's your security fund. If something ever happens to me, speaking as a husband, you're taken care of. You can take care of yourself. Divorces happen, like you say, and you're taken care of regardless. But you're right. I think if there's an issue with accepting that we should both be investing and growing our wealth, you can have joint investments and you can have individual investments, and I'm a champion for both. If there is a problem with that, then yes, you need to look at the marriage and understand, why is it that we don't feel secure enough to be open with our finances and how we're managing money? And whoever is the financial expert in the relationship should be driving the other to invest as well. That would be my take on it. Okay, so if we have women who are looking to invest but have no clue how they should start investing, where should they start?
Well, there are a lot of books. There's a lot of online resources. I do an investing 101 course as well. But before you even look at investing, you need to know what's happening with your money. How much are you earning? How much are you spending, first of all? And then whatever is left, your disposable income, that's what you should be putting aside for the future. So when I'm talking about the future, I'm talking about 3 things specifically. First is your emergency fund. You have money to cover some months worth of expenses. So for example, if you spend 10,000 dirhams a month, you should have a minimum of 30,000 as an emergency fund. Ideally 6, and even if you can move it to 12, even better. Then you have sinking funds. Now sinking funds are just short-term savings. You want to buy a car, you want to put a down payment on a house, you have birthdays, holidays, all of that. Then you can have your sinking funds. You can have one account for all your sinking funds, or you can have separate accounts, one for each of them. Depends on you. It depends on the ease of administration and what you think is best for you.
Okay.
Then we're looking at investments. So this is looking long term. Once upon a time we would call it retirement planning, but now you hear a lot of people calling it financial freedom. So you need to plan for financial freedom.
Yes.
Because a lot of people maybe are in jobs they don't like. They don't want to be there forever.
Yes.
Because we can talk about that. That's a different conversation altogether. But a lot of people, they want to, at least at some point in their lives, be at a place where they're not dependent on their salary, which means that they have investments, they have their assets that are worth enough to pay them an income that they can live off of. Okay? So that's the goal. That's what we want. We want to live off passive income.
Okay. So emergency funds, I get it. Essentially, it's just your rainy day. Sinking funds, I get it. These are kind of costs that you have going out every month, and they're taken care of. So with investment, how much of our salary should we be putting aside for investments? And it'll be good to understand what sort of investment should we go into? What's the easiest investment you would advise someone to go into? Would it be buy crypto or invest in gold, or, you know, what's a good passive income to be looking at, and where should I go and find it?
Okay. So how much should we be putting aside? I don't like to give blanket percentages because obviously I sit down with people one-on-one and we look at the numbers. But a lot of people say just do start with 10%, 20%. But again, it depends on your financial situation.
Yes.
Some people are in a very tight financial situation. I don't want them to feel bad.
Yes.
But everyone can get started. And everyone can get started even with investing in the stock market. There's so many different investment platforms out there that allow you to start with just a little bit of money. There's international platforms. There may be platforms in your home country. There are platforms in the UAE. You open an account, you put some money in there. Sometimes it's done for you where you fill out a questionnaire which determines your risk profile. And then based on that, they will put you in some predetermined selected funds, or you could do it on your own through an investment platform. I would recommend for beginners to go with the former option because it's easier for you. You don't have to stress, you don't have to think about it. But if you want to be a little bit fancier, then you could go and choose funds yourself. Now, I'm recommending funds and not individual stocks because individual stocks is putting all your eggs in one basket. So how much should you be putting in? Coming back to that again, there are two ways to go about it. Look at your disposable income and simply start with what you can afford and build on it from there. And then another thing that I like to do is, we talked about retirement planning and financial freedom. What is your financial freedom number? And then we work it backwards. So if I know that, I don't know how old you are, Izu, but if we say by the time you're 55, you want to have $5 million so you can live off the passive income of that, then we work it backwards. And then it'll tell us, as of today, how much money should you be investing every month so you can hit that 5 million by the time you're 55? So we're just reverse engineering it. Most times when I do that calculation with clients, they're not earning enough to invest the amount they need to earn to be investing today, which is fine because you get started and you build on it from there. What happens normally is when you start investing, then you're more motivated to make more money. Because you need to, the only way is you're going to have to increase your income if you need more money to hit your financial goals. So don't get stuck in your 9 to 5. Your 9 to 5 is great, but there are so many ways to make money on the side.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, you know, you talked about, you know, putting your funds into certain accounts. I know there are bank accounts in the UAE that can offer you up to 5% on your investment if you put into it. I think, and like you said as well, there's so many ways to do it. So I think looking at, if you have a good sum of money to invest, looking at diversifying, you know, like you say, a little bit in stock markets, you might put a little bit in gold, you might invest in the business as well, so that drives you passive income. Okay, fantastic. And I just want to touch on this one as well, because this is something I'm exploring, which is investing as a micro investor in micro businesses. So which for me is, you look at someone's small business and say, okay, I'm going to put a sum of money into that. Let's just say that business is going to give me 1,000 dirhams, 2,000 dirhams a month. It's a micro business, a small business, and you do that across 10 different businesses, right? What do you think about that? Because I think it's an easy way to get started. You can actually monitor what's happening. You can monitor by your return on investment every month, as opposed to stock markets, which potentially you can't control. What do you think about being sort of investing in micro businesses? Would you advise your clients to look out for that?
So it's interesting that you said that you can't control what happens in the stock market, but somehow you can control what happens in those micro businesses. I don't think you can.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I don't think you can on a macro level, but I think, for example, you have a say in it, right? As even if you are an armchair investor, you can say, well, maybe we need to do a little bit more marketing to get a bit more visibility. Maybe we need to pivot a little bit here and move from this audience to that audience, because that audience is most likely to buy. You can quickly learn from what the market is saying and adjust, right? Whereas with the stock market, on a macro level and even on a micro level, so you put your money in and the market does what it does. I say it's usually kind of a halal way of gambling. So
you know what?
you put the money in and you see what happens with your money. Yeah. So tell me, why do you disagree? I'm not saying it's wrong, but I just think, okay, you bet on red, and if it goes well, you get your money. If it doesn't go well, you lose it. Whereas with a micro business, you can actively work to push you in the direction that you want. Okay.
So if you were maybe looking at all the companies in the stock market, you close your eyes, spin a wheel, put your finger on, and choose any company to invest in, then I would agree with you there.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at funds, and this is why funds are so great. When you're looking at funds, one, you're automatically diversifying because there are dozens, if not hundreds, of companies within one fund.
Yes.
So that's automatic diversification.
Yeah.
And now if you look at the history of those companies, now we know past performance does not guarantee future performance, but it gives us a good idea of what we can hope for.
Yes.
So if you look at the fund's past performance and we see that it's been performing 10% annually, 7% annually, consistently for the most part. And when I say average, it doesn't mean that every single year is 7%, right? Because an average is, it could be 10, 12, 5, 7, but when you do the calculations, you'll see that it's generally an average of 7% for this example. So when you're investing in such a fund, you're reducing your risk.
Okay.
You're diversifying.
Right.
And you can feel more at ease in knowing that this investment is going to do well for you.
Okay. Cool. So that's the way to go, diversification.
Stick to simple funds.
Yeah.
Don't do, at least for beginners, don't do investing in individual stocks.
Yeah.
That's higher risk.
Yes.
Putting all your eggs in one basket, we don't want that.
Yeah. I totally agree. Always stay diversified. And what would you advise people like myself who are kind of focusing more on investing in small businesses?
Well, you can call me because that's what I do in my day job.
Okay.
But there are some opportunities that I do have available in my day job. But even that aside, if you're going to invest in a small business, you have to do a lot of research. You really need to understand the ins and outs. And you have to be able to trust whoever's running that business is giving you factual information. So there's a lot of research required.
Okay, fantastic. So I think we'll wrap this up. But would you have any other advice for people who are still cold feet about investing, especially women? What would be your advice to them? What's the easiest way for them to start? If you can just summarize and encourage them to get into investment, what would you be saying?
Just take a chance on yourself. Do a little bit of research and get started. You don't have to start with a lot of money. Start with a little bit of money. Okay. Allow it to work consistently. Then you can build on it from there. Okay. I think when people think investing, they think they need to take all of their savings and invest it at once. Take all of their disposable income and invest it. No, you don't have to do that. You start small and you build on it from there. That's all. Fantastic.
Great. And if someone wants to reach out to you to know more about investing or wealth management, how can they get hold of you?
I think the best way is just contact me on social media. I'm online everywhere. Lydia-Elim, Lydia-Elim.
Okay.
You can find me there. So just send me a DM. Let me know that you watched this episode and you're following up for investment advice.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lydia, and hopefully we can encourage more people to invest.
Yes, that's what I want. I love that.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.